Hey everyone, welcome back. So today is Sunday, and I thought we would go over. I obviously will go over Bitcoin, see what's going on there on the charts. We'll also take a look at HIVE Hot 8 July update. HIVE has a lot of information to provide, so we'll go over that. It's going to be a little bit long on that one. HIVE is pretty simple, cut and dry, so that is it. You guys know the drill here. Invest in following coins and companies, not financial advice, for entertainment only. As always, do your own research, and let's get into Bitcoin. So Bitcoin right now is at 23,146. We can see here that it has been battling, at least in the last week at least, was battling with the resistance at 23,800. We'll see if it can continue to get above that or battle with it. Right now, it looks like it's trying to go down a little bit. RSI isn't looking too bad right now, but our concern is obviously going back down to the 19,500 line, which is kind of our support, and not going below that. If we can get above the 23,800 line, our next resistance is going to be at 28,735, at least the way it looks like right now on the daily chart. So a lot of unknowns here in Ethereum. Let's take a look at, let's go back to my miner list. Let's take a look at Ethereum. So Ethereum is at 1,706. It is kind of doing the same thing. It's trying to get above, it looks like this line of resistance, which is around 1,725 is the resistance right now. And we'll see if we can muster the strength to get above that line in the coming days, weeks. But right now it's just a battle. I would like to see the RSI come down a little bit more before we start going back up higher. So we may actually go down in price before that happens. And the same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin isn't too bad on the RSI, so it still has a little bit more room than Ethereum, but I'd like to see the RSI come down a little bit on both of those. So that's it for those guys. Let's take a look at the miners information here. So we'll do HIVE first. HIVE has a lot of details, so it's going to be a little bit long here on all the news, but we'll get through it all, and I'll provide you guys my thoughts on it as well. So let me see here. Where was it? Here it is. So production update for July was 279.9 BTC produced. They are started out at 2.2 exahash in the beginning of July, increased that to 2.26 exahash of Bitcoin mining capacity. So not a huge increase, only 60 petahash or so. Average hash rate was 203 for the month. Ethereum produced was 2,957. 5.77 terahash was at the beginning of July for their Ethereum mining. 6.49 terahash at the end of July. And then we go down here. We also know that they combine those two. So those figures are BTC and BTC equivalents. And those are the figures that we actually use in the spreadsheet that I have. So here's Mr. Kylik. We also would like to provide an update on BTC and Ethereum equivalency, where one can equate the value of the coins produced daily. As such, the Ethereum that HIVE produced during the month of July, equated on a daily basis, is approximately equal a monthly total of 185.2 BTC, which we refer to as Bitcoin equivalent or BTC equivalent. This is in addition to the 279.9 BTC produced from our Bitcoin mining operations during July, for a total of 465.1 BTC. Or Bitcoin equivalents is what they're using here. So the company, let's see here, total was 465.1 BTC equivalent, 15 BTC equivalent produced per day, which is good. 3.77 exahash combined, which is also good. And we have a little bit of an outlook and strategy on Ethereum. So this is kind of long. This is where it gets a little lengthy. And we'll talk about this a little bit too as well. So the company acknowledges that there has been recent discussions surrounding the potential Ethereum merge to proof of stake. If you've been sitting under a rock someplace, some of the developers for Ethereum have said that they are looking to possibly do it in September or October. And people have been, kind of asking the CEO, Frank Holmes, as far as what are their plans. Frank is kind of like blowing it off. So people aren't too happy with that. They want answers as far as what they're going to be doing going forward, if that happens, right? And I think it's a fair question. What are you going to do with your Ethereum miners when Ethereum goes to proof of stake? They keep saying that it's going to go off not for another year or something like that. Well, it might happen sooner than they think, and we would like to know, as far as investors, what are their plans? So here's kind of their answer to that a little bit. With respect to a timeline to proof of stake, the company notes that a specific block for the Ethereum merge has not been specified, which it has not yet. Until a specific block has been identified and universally accepted by the Ethereum Foundation, the company believes it is indeterminate if or when the merge will happen. For comparison, every Bitcoin halving event is specifically prescribed block height. Yes, we know that's the case, but there's a difference there. You're doing an upgrade for it. The halving event for Bitcoin is programmed already into it. We know that's going to happen. This is something that's going to have to be done by the Ethereum Foundation, obviously, when they're going to do the merge, and they'll obviously provide it when they are ready to do that. But it seems like we are getting pretty close to that, so we'll have to see when that actually happens. So Hive acknowledges there could be execution risk in implementing a business strategy if Ethereum goes to proof of stake. Okay, so they're finally acknowledging it. And we believe there will be continued demand for GPU-based proof of work mining. As such, the company has strategy in the event the merge occurs. So it looks like they're actually working towards possibly when that time comes to have something other than working on Ethereum. So and maybe one of these days I'll do a video on what are the other options as far as mining other than Ethereum on GPUs. But let's continue on here. So Hive believes there is an intrinsic value in broadly decentralized proof of work blockchain with layer 2 smart contracts, as the majority of such projects exist on the Ethereum blockchain. If NFT and DeFi developers realize that a secure proof of work layer 1 blockchain is the best playing field for their code-based projects, there could be an increased level in layer 2 applications on the Ethereum Classic blockchain after the merge. I mean, it could happen, but I think we're seeing already that newer startups are going with proof of stake more than they are with proof of work. And the reason is because of the obviously huge energy demand that proof of work requires compared to proof of stake. So they obviously are looking to be ESG, right, friendly. And that I think is not going to lead to a lot of projects going to layer 1 Ethereum or Classic, because you can get possibly better speeds, obviously, with I'm drawing a blank here. With proof of stake, you can get better speeds in transactions than you can with proof of work right now. And that's going to be important, obviously, for transactions being done fast, in real time almost, 1 to 2 second transactions. That's kind of what we're aiming here for with DeFi and NFTs. Doesn't really matter. NFTs, I mean, you're just buying a digital art or something like that, so it doesn't really matter on that one. But the other ones that are, real world transactions, you want it to be almost within, a couple of seconds of that being done. So I just don't know if that's the case, if that's going to happen at all. I mean, it's wishful thinking, but I just don't think this is going to be something that developers are going to prioritize for, going into proof of work. I think they're looking for proof of stake more so than the other. So that's just my 2 cents on that one. The company has already commenced case studies analyzing hash rate economics of Ethereum Classic and other GPU mineable coins at an industrial scale. Boy, it's early. I can't speak this early in the morning. So here's my thought on that. It's good that they're analyzing it. The concern here is obviously with everybody that's mining currently Ethereum, switching over to Ethereum Classic, you're going to have the difficulty go way up really quick, and the economies are not going to be there for that coin or that blockchain to support all the miners that are going into it, and it's just not going to be profitable for them. So that's possibly one of the outcomes of that. So you got to be careful with that. Hive has also been performing GPU optimizations throughout calendar 2022, which are proprietary and provide the company with competitive edge, that's actually good there. Going down here further, GPUs which currently mine Ethereum are only one facet of the Hive's operations, which complements its fleet of Bitcoin mining ASICs. Hive's GPU fleet is comprised of 2 types of cards. Our legacy fleet comprised mostly of RX 580s and can be repurposed for other GPU mining coins, which is fine. And then the second type being our data center grade cards, namely our NVIDIA fleet, which we announced last year, which we joined the NVIDIA Partner Network. These cards have other applications in high performance computing applications, so that's good. Right, so at least you have a little bit of diversification there. Hive has been developing a new platform for our data center grade cards to create new streams of revenue. Okay, that's great. It would be nice to know what those platforms might be. The company foresees the creation of new streams of revenue from GPUs, such as providing HPC services for rendering AI, and ML, molecular modeling, and etc. So that's actually pretty good. But obviously they need to have systems and software in place to be able to do that so people can rent those out from them. And then New Brunswick power costs. So this is kind of interesting. So HIVE has navigated several months of high energy prices in New Brunswick as its data center campus, which have affected all businesses that are customers with interruptible energy contracts. So it looks like everybody's having a little bit of energy price crunch right now. We're seeing it from others as well. Mr. Kylik noted the interruptible energy rates in New Brunswick have historically been between 3.5 to 4.5 cents USD per, I'm guessing this is kilowatt hour, based on annual averages over the last decade. So that's pretty good. HIVE has also a portion of the total electricity load in New Brunswick as fixed power at approximately 6 cents per kilowatt hour USD, which is also not too bad. The best I could get at my little mining farm that I managed was 6.5, and that was basically in 2018. Now we're at 8 cents right now. That's the best I could do, which isn't great, especially if you're using S9s, you're not profitable right now. So in the company's fiscal Q4 2022, the power rate in New Brunswick based on the company's usage, blended fixed and interruptible power were approximately 12 cents per kilowatt hour for 46 megawatts of capacity. So that's actually pretty high compared to possibly others. But obviously, let me continue on here. Mr. Kelly continued, a benefit of being globally diversified with 6 data centers in 3 countries. HIVE's other facilities enjoyed power costs of approximately 3.5 cents, which is pretty good, per kilowatt hour for approximately 54 megawatts of operating capacity. So that is good. Taking into consideration average of HIVE's global operating costs for electricity, data center staff, maintenance for all facilities in Q4 2022, the total cost was approximately 7.5 cents per kilowatt hour based on global average operating footprint of 114 megawatts, which is really good. I'm not sure what the other companies are at, but I'm sure they're going to be somewhere around there as well. Some might be a little bit better. But I thought HIVE was one of the best ones out here with lowest priced. So others might be a little bit higher. Compared to revenue of $49.8 million, as noted in the company's audited fiscal 2022 financial statements, which equates to approximately 20 cents per kilowatt hour. That's their revenue, I'm guessing, if you base it on per kilowatt hour, which is really good. So 20, and they're at 7. So it looks like they're about, 65% profitable based on that. Correct me if I'm wrong there. Since then, the company's average global operating costs for electricity, data center staff, and maintenance in New Brunswick have improved significantly as the company has enacted strategies to avoid high interruptible power prices in New Brunswick, which may include from time to time reducing consumption during periods of peak interruptible power. In fiscal Q1 2023, April to June 2022, the company's average power costs in New Brunswick have been 7.4 cents per kilowatt hour, which is good, utilizing approximately 52 megawatts on average. And globally, operating costs for electricity, data center staff, and maintenance for all facilities is approximately 5.5. So a nice increase there per kilowatt hour based on global averages operating footprint of approximately 126 megawatts. So obviously, they are doing improvements here, which is good to see as well. And that is it for all the data. So the electricity obviously is going to be a growing concern for everybody here in the mining industry, especially with pricing going up, and that's based on a lot of factors. But I think you guys are aware of what those are. But obviously, the proof of work thing for Ethereum Classic, I don't know how much to bet on that. I doubt that's going to happen very much. I think developers are going to be going to proof of stake protocols. You got Solana, you got Cardano, and others as well that you can get into that are already on proof of stake, and that's kind of where we're seeing the activity happen right now. So let's get into the numbers here. Let me go back up here so we can go back and forth if need be. All right, so here is HIVE so far. We got 82 million shares outstanding, prices at $5.03. Market cap is 413 million. There were obviously at about over $1 billion when we were at the peak of Bitcoin mania. So we've come down obviously on all of that. They do hodl 3,091 Bitcoins. Current hash rate is about 2.26 exahash. Future hash rate I have them at about 3.9, but we'll see what happens with the Intel miners. Still waiting on news on those guys too. So we'll see. So here's what they mined. 465.1, that's total BTC and BTC equivalents for that. And that basically generates them 0.1442 BTC per petahash, which is really good. It's their second best month other than January. January they had 0.1466, which was better than this. And so that's a good sign there. Things are improving a little bit. That generated them about 10.8 million in revenue. It is an increase of 44 Bitcoins over last month and a 10.5% increase from that. They did sell, it looks like, 613 Bitcoins this in July, for a total of about 14.2 million in revenue. As seen here, that they had 3,239 at the end of June. They're at 3,091 at the end of July. Plus what they mined, we came up with 613 that they basically sold to fund operations and possible growth. And let's take a look at some other stuff here. So what did we do in July for them? What do we do for them? Trying to find it. Here we go. So we added basically 24 petahash of mining here. These are the 98 terahash miners, about 250 of those guys. And that was it. That was enough to get us to the 2265 that we needed to get to for July. And we are at 10.8 roughly on this. And they were all pretty much mining for 31 days here. And then Ethereum is always obviously a little tricky as far as how much that one provides, and that's based on what these numbers come up with. So all the ASICs, what the ASICs add up to, and then what we're short from here, as reported 465 BTC. That's our total that we're looking at to get to, and then we adjust the price or the amount made on the miners here. So you can see I had it in 2.875 in June, 3.875 million for July for the Ethereum miners, just to get them up to the 10.8 or so that we needed to get to. So that's how we're doing that. Looking at the institutional side of things for the stock, so we did have a decrease in number of institutions to 122 from 136. Shares also decreased 7.9 million from 10.3 million, but percentage owned increased by 9.68. Trying to figure that one out. We did obviously also have two additional analysts put in a rating on them. So we did have only one strong buy rating. Now we have one strong buy rating and two buy ratings. And the price targets did increase, which is good, to $25 per share at the high, $15.25 for the average, and the low is $5.50. So that has come down obviously based on having more input from it, but it's still good that we got the price up higher on the average, or on the high and the average. Looking at it here, we're looking obviously at the current quarter revenue, which is this one. We're looking at 32 million right now if things don't change. I'm sure things are going to change. They're going to get more miners possibly installed in August. We'll see where Bitcoin price goes as well, and in September. So that's possibly going to change. So this is a variable that's going to obviously change things. And the last three quarters, two of those are already set in stone. The June ending quarter is the one that's still a variable. We'll see what they actually provide as far as financial numbers, and then we'll see how far off I was on that. I was off by 5.85% in the March 22 quarter, so not too bad, but I'd still like to be below 2.5% off on those. So we're trying to dial it in, get it a little bit closer to it. So looking at all that, we have a combined total of 190 million, and that's revenue, gross revenue on Bitcoin mining. 50% net income from gross revenue, you'd be at 95 million. So we're looking at a P of 20 on them. That would be at $23.20. As they are about 57% operational right now, I could see them getting a 15 to 20 P multiple easily once Bitcoin starts going up. But that will depend obviously on the investors and the market in general. And if we're looking at 75%, which it seems like they're about 65% net income from revenue, I believe, that would be about $26, which is pretty close to what I have them at right now for compared to the analysts, right? So overall, I think Hive is way undervalued right now at 535, obviously, along with a lot of the other miners. They do obviously need to get more miners installed. I'd like to see some more information on them for the ASIC miners as far as what are those doing. Haven't had any updates recently, so it'd be nice to see what those guys are doing, the Intel ASIC miners, and how that's progressing as well, how much they're getting, when they're going to be installed, things like that, so we can add it in and update their future hash rate as well. But otherwise, a solid July for them, so no qualms there. I'm still obviously invested in Hive. I'm going to continue to hold there. I haven't been dollar cost averaging because my dollar cost average has been so low, so I'm just kind of holding right now until we get into the next possible bull market and then possibly sell then, and then wait for the next bear market, buy in more, and repeat the process again. So not financial advice. Do your own research as always. Don't listen to a guy on YouTube here, but do your own research. All right, let's get into Hive. Not Hive. We just did Hive. Let's get into HUT. HUT is going to be pretty quick. Update here. So production highlights for July 2022, 330 Bitcoins were generated, resulting in an average production rate of 10.61 BTC per day. Our Ethereum mining, for which we received payment in Bitcoin, generated approximately 10.7 of our total production. So whatever they're mining with those Ethereum miners, whether it's Ethereum or something else, they're getting paid out in Bitcoins. That's added to their total Bitcoin supply here, which is through 330. They are still hodling everything, so 100% self-mined Bitcoin in July were deposited into custody. Total Bitcoin balance held in reserve is 7,736. And installed operating capacity was 2.92 exahash at the end of the month. And HUD produced 113 BTC per exahash in July, which is okay as well. So a couple other things here. So monthly shipments of micro BT miners continue to arrive as scheduled and are being installed in real time. A severe thunderstorm on July 18th interrupted the power supply to the Medicine Hat mine and surrounding area. Site infrastructure and equipment were not damaged, and power was restored on July 23rd. So basically 5 days without power possibly there at that facility. And then here's a quick quote. We continue to deliver the results, growing our stack to 7,736 Bitcoin, one of the largest holdings globally, by mining efficiently, said Jamie Leverton, CEO. At the same time, we continue to focus on growing the uncorrelated recurring revenue within our high performance computing business, and are thrilled to welcome Foundry aboard as a cloud service customer in our, I'm just going to say Miss Data Center because I can't pronounce that word. That's it. So obviously we covered this about the Foundry. So if you want to check on that one, you can check out the other video for that one, but that was done last week. All right, so let's take a look at the numbers for HUT, and we'll be done for today. All right, a lot of information. All right, let's just go through this really quick. So shares out 192 million. Market cap is about 457, so about the same as Hive right now. Stock price is $2.38. We are looking at a current hash rate of 2.9 exahash, future hash rate of 3.2. They're about 91% currently operationally installed, which then doesn't give them a lot more upside. BTC, obviously they have a lot of BTC, 7,736, valued at 177 million. HODL to market cap is about 38.82%, and then each share has about 92 cents worth of HODL position in it right now, which is a lot. Hopefully they will start selling it as Bitcoin starts going back up. That's, at least I'm hoping that they do that. That they're just weathering the storm right now and then hoping to sell a little bit higher in. So BTC production was 330, so that's 2 better than they did in June. And BTC per petahash is kind of low, 0.1130. That is the lowest it's been since I've been recording it since January, that looks like. And it seems to be getting lower. So that's a little bit concerning. We want to see this going back up. Hash rate did increase a little bit, obviously 141 petahash looks like from June, which I'm surprised, but I'm thinking that the power outage caused this to obviously have an effect on the production as well. And they obviously did not sell anything, so 736, all of it was deposited into the account, which is good. So let's see what we did here in July for them. As far as miners are concerned, we installed 14, so we got, let's see here, delete. So 27 days is basically where we had them at for the most part of the miners running. 14.5 for the new ones that got installed. Those were the 93 terahash miners, and 1,517 of those were installed roughly. And we're looking at a revenue of about 7.7 million or so right now from that, from everything, as reported from the BTC that they mined, which is a decrease, I believe, or an increase from. Yeah, it is an increase from June, which is good. Obviously, Bitcoin price has gone up, so that obviously is helping things out. So they only really have, looks like, maybe a couple more thousand miners to get installed here, looks like. The only ones that we don't have in here are the ones, let's see, it's basically these over here that still need to get installed. So we got almost 4,000 miners that need to get installed, and that equates to that equates to, what is that? That's 367 petahash, which isn't much. So we obviously need some more news from them as far as getting more miners to grow their hash rate. Obviously, that's what I think a lot of investors are looking for. All right, institutions. Let's take a look at that really quick here. Institutions did increase a little bit to 182 from 180. Shares did, let me see, no, shares went down surprisingly to 38.3 million compared to 39.1 million. Percentage owned went down to 19.99. Still have 2 strong buy ratings, 4 regular buy ratings, 0 hold, 0 underperforms, 0 sells. Price target went up a little bit to a high of 928. The average went up to 567 and the low went up to 387 as well. So a slight increase in those. And looking at the revenue part of it here, we are at current quarter possibly around 25 million if things stay the same. Obviously, things are going to change. Last 3 quarters, we are at right now of, let me see, that's Canadian. I probably should, it's pretty close. I probably have to get this changed over to USD and then add that to here. So we'll make some adjustments here possibly. But we're looking at about 114 million last 3 quarters combined for the total 4 quarters of 140 million roughly. If we look at 50% net income from gross revenue on that, we're at 70 million. That would equate to $5.47 on the stock price. And then 75% net income would be at $8.21. What did the analysts have it at? 928. Yeah. So, we're pretty right in with the analysts here on that. Obviously, Bitcoin goes up. And given that they're not going to be growing that much unless they actually provide that they're going to be growing, I could see them being between 12 and 15. So 438 to 656 on it to possibly 15 to 547 to 821. But if Bitcoin starts going up like crazy to all-time highs, you could easily get 20 P on it, 729 to 1064. Obviously, that's going to have a huge impact on it. But yeah, good month of July for them. Not their best. They need to obviously get their efficiency up on the miners here. Get the BTC per petahash up. I would like to see that happen. And obviously revenue. We want to see revenue go up. So otherwise, and I would just say a good July production update. Concerning is obviously their future growth is, getting to the end here. They really need to provide something, I think, to capture investors' interest on it and, growing, whether it's another 2x from here or whatever their plan is going to be. Right now is a good time to buy. Look at, they got 177 million in BTC value right now. If you were to spend that on, miners right now. So if we just take 177 and go 123, divide that by, let's say you can get the miners now at 3,500, you can basically get 5,000 miners for that amount that you're hodling right now, and you'd be going up about 5 exahash if you're using just the 100 terahash miners for those, if you can get them. That would be a huge growth for them. That would get them up to about 8 exahash in total. So something to think about there. All right, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, obviously hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. Patreon members have access to the spreadsheet. I'm going to actually upload it tonight or today, this morning. And thank you to everybody there for their continued support. Other than that, I think that's all we have going on. We're still waiting on some other updates from the miners for the July production updates. And then we are going to start seeing financials come out later on, I believe this week and then into next week as well. So we'll take a look at those as well when those come out, provide our thoughts. All call it a day. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye.